Morning everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the topic miscellaneous bacteria and also what are the bacteria come under miscellaneous group. So usually miscellaneous bacteria which causes diseases mainly in children, immunocompromised persons, immunosuppressive patients, pregnancy women and older people. Coming to the first one, Listeria monocytogenes. Listeria monocytogenes, these are short non-sporing gram-positive bacilli and these are motile at the temperature of 25 degrees centigrade. At this temperature, the bacteria containing Peritrichus flagella and non-motile at the temperature of 37 degrees centigrade. In this temperature, the bacterium doesn't have flagella. That's why these are non-motile at the temperature of 37 degrees centigrade. And these are microaerophilic. These are widely distributed in nature like birds, fish, ticks and crustacean. These are also occurs as saprophyte in soil and water. The main mode of entry is ingestion of contaminated food and water, inhalation of dust particles, presence of Listeria monocytogenes and contact with infected animals. Coming to the clinical manifestation, in case of pregnancy women before 20 weeks, it leads to abortions, stillbirth, miliary granulomatous, nodules present in spleen, liver, lungs, gut and meninges. In case of neonates, it causes meningitis and sepsis. In case of adults, it causes listerial meningoencephalitis, bacteremia and endocarditis, primary cutaneous listeriosis, other infections like brain abscess, spinal abscess, conjunctivitis and urethritis. Coming to the laboratory diagnosis, here we can use common like specimens, cervical and vaginal secretions, meconium, cord blood, blood and CSF. What is meconium? Meconium is also known as earliest feces of infant and cord blood also known as umbilical cord blood. Once you have done collecting sample, we need to go for gram staining. After gram staining, we need to focus under microscope. If you focus under microscope, you will get gram positive bacilli. Then culture. So here we can use blood agar. In case of for an enrichment broth, you can use trypticase soya broth. Presence of 0.1% potassium tellurite. And next thing, cold enrichment. Here we can use tryptose phosphate or thioglycolate broth. After that, we need to incubate at 4 degrees centigrade. And then the colonies are beta hemolysis and CAM test is positive. And animal inoculation, in case of rabbits, causes marked monocytosis and special stain is Anton's test. So instillation into the eyes of rabbit produces keratoconjunctivitis. Its indication of Anton's test is positive. Coming to the treatment, we can give certain drugs of antibiotics like ampicillin, cotrimoxazole, gentamicin. Next, Erysipelotrix rhizopathia. Erysipelotrix rhizopathia is a slender gram-positive bacilli. If you see under microscope, this bacteria appears like long filaments, and these are microaerophilic or aerobes and grows on ordinary media. On tellurate media, the colonies are black in color, and these are catalase negative, and it produces H2S. Mainly it causes swine erysipelas and human erysipelas. So in case of human erysipelas, the infection occurs on the face, hand and fingers of persons handling animal products. The lesions are painful, edematous and erythematous. The involving lymph nodes and joints, it leads to arthritis, and rarely it can cause endocarditis. Coming to the treatment, we can give penicillin and erythromycin. Legionella pneumophila. First seen in military battalion who attended meeting in Philadelphia who suffered from pneumonia was named as Legionnaires' disease. So causative agent is Legionella pneumophila. So isolated from water, air conditioning systems, humidifiers, showers and respiratory ventilators. Coming to the morphology, Legionella pneumophila is a gram-negative bacilli and shape. In case of infected tissues, these are short rods or gram-negative cocobacilli. In case of cultures, this bacteria appears like long rods, and these are motile catalase positive, and it can hydrolysis, epurate, starch and gelatin. Coming to the culture, so these are strict aerobe and fastidious organisms. For the primary isolation, it needs cysteine and iron. Then grown on buffered charcoal yeast extract agar and also Muller-Hinton medium supplemented with ferric salts and L-cysteine. So after overnight incubation, the colonies appears like circular and size is about 1 to 2 millimeter in diameter, and grey, low convex, irregular edges are present, and the colonies appears like cut glass appearance. Here you can see on buffered charcoal yeast extract, the colonies appears like cut glass appearance. Coming to the pathogenesis, the mode of transmission is through aerosols. So Legionella infection mainly in two forms. One is Legionnaires' disease and pointer fever, together known as legionellosis. Legionnaires' disease, it is a pneumonic illness progress to involve every system of the body. Incubation period is about 2 to 10 days. Symptoms are headache, body ache, chills, fever, cough, shortness of breath, chest pain, gastrointestinal symptoms such as nausea, vomiting and diarrhea. Fatality percentage about 15 to 20%. So usually the cause of death is progressive respiratory failure and shock. Coming to the Pontiac fever. Pontiac fever is an acute non-fatal respiratory disease. It causes a mild upper respiratory infection that resembles like acute influenza. Pontiac fever resolves spontaneously and often goes even undiagnosed. Laboratory diagnosis. So mainly we can collect the sample like sputum, bronchial aspirate, pleural fluid, lung biopsy and autopsy. Microscopy, can use fluorescent microscopy. Then culture, buffered charcoal yeast extract as a selective medium, incubated at 37 degrees centigrade. And detection of Legionella antigen with the help of ELISA. And serological test, can use indirect fluorescent antibody test. Coming to the treatment, here we can give an antibiotic, that is erythromycin. And prevention, we can use heat water above 60 degrees centigrade or disinfection with chlorine, and there is no vaccine is available. Next one, Gardnerella vaginalis. Gardnerella vaginalis, it's a causative agent of bacterial vaginosis. It's characterized by raised vaginal pH more than 4.5. So these are small gram-negative rod pleomorphic cocobacilli, and these are aerobic and grows on blood or chocolate agar with the presence of 5% carbon dioxide, and it produces minute colonies, and after 24 to 48 hours the colonies are hemolytic in nature, and the catalase and oxidase are negative, non-motile, non-capsulated. Coming to the lab diagnosis, so main thing we need to demonstrate clue cells. So if it is vaginal pH, it's more than 4.5 we need to collect 2 swabs. So one swab for culture and one swab for gram stain and wet mount. Whiff test and also known as amine test. Here we need to collect vaginal discharge on a glass slide and we need to add few drops of KOH. So first thing we need to observe the smell. So if it is fishy smell or fishy odor, we consider as bacteria present in the vaginal discharge. If it is no smell or no odor, it indication of negative. That means there is no bacteria in the vaginal discharge. And treatment, usually you can give metronidazole. Coming to the Campylobacter. Campylobacter is a gram-negative bacilli, usually comma or S-shaped appearance. So these are motile with the help of polar flagellum, and these are microaerophilic, and both oxidase and catalase are positive, and it reduces nitrates into nitrites. And these are thermophilic. They can survive at the temperature of 42 degrees centigrade. And various species of Campylobacter. So usually Campylobacter jejuni, Campylobacter lari, Campylobacter coli, which causes diarrheal disease, and Campylobacter fetus, which causes extraintestinal infections other than the intestinal infections, and Campylobacter sportorum, which causes common abscess. And coming to the pathogenesis, source of infection is mainly from poultry and its products. The mode of infection through ingestion. So incubation period is about 1 to 7 days. So first thing, ingestion of organisms, it enters into the colonization mainly in the jejunum and ileum. From the jejunum and ileum, it invasion of mucosa, then it enters into the mucosa, then from the mucosa it enters into the mesenteric lymph nodes. From the mesenteric lymph nodes, which enters into the bloodstream, then they cause infections. So usually causes diarrhea, often sometimes blood also presents in the feces, then abdominal cramping and pain, nausea and vomiting, fever and fatigue. Coming to the laboratory diagnosis, usually you can collect samples like feces and rectal swab. We need to go for microscopy, dark field microscopy or phase contract microscope we can use for the demonstration of bacteria. And then with the help of hanging drop technique, we can demonstrate motility of the bacteria. So usually we need to detect darting or tumbling motility of the Campylobacter. And culture, mainly we can use Carry-Blair media as a transport media, and Skyros, Campi, blood agar plate and Budsers are used as selective media. Here you can see gray or colorless colonies, moist, flat or convex, non-hemolytic colonies presents on selective media like Campi, blood agar plate. Treatment, so mainly we can use fluid replacement and also an antibiotic, erythromycin, as a drug of choice. Helicobacter. So the important species is Helicobacter pylori. So this gram-negative spirals, microaerophilic, it is H2S producer, and the main important characteristic nature of Helicobacter pylori is it produces more urease. That means it produces abundant urease. That is the main characteristic nature of Helicobacter pylori, and it doesn't reduce from nitrate to nitrite. Pathogenicity, mode of transmission, oral to oral or orophycal route. Colonization mainly on gastric mucosa. So clinical manifestation, mainly it causes acute gastritis, peptic ulcer, chronic atrophic gastritis, associated with gastric malignancies. So mainly adenocarcinoma and mucosa associated lymphoid tissue. So mainly lab diagnosis, mainly two types: invasive test, non-invasive test. So under invasive test, microscopy. Here we need to demonstrate with the help of Gram stain of like spiral bacilli. So here you can see seagull appearance in case of Gram stain spiral bacilli. It appears like a seagull appearance, and silver impregnation. So usually spiral form of bacteria we can demonstrate with the help of silver impregnation methods. Then culture, blood agar, chocolate agar, Campylobacter agar. And non-invasive test like serology, ELISA and urease breath test. Here we can use labeled carbon urea. And then treatment. Here we can use standard triple therapy. So here we are giving three kind of therapy like proton pump inhibitor bid, amoxicillin 1 gram of bid, clarithromycin 500 gram of 500 milligram bid. So here these three together form a standard triple therapy, and we need to treat for 14 days. Rat bite fever, it's very important. So here two important pathogenic elements which causes through the rat. So here Streptobacillus moniliformis spirillum minus. Streptobacillus moniliformis, it is non-motile, and spirillum minus is a motile bacterium. And coming to the clinical manifestation, it causes relapsing fever, rash, arthralgia occurring days or weeks after a rat bite. Coming to the Streptobacillus moniliformis, so coming to the morphology, it is gram negative, non-motile, non-capsulated, highly pleomorphic, short bacillus. It forms chains appearing as filaments with club-shaped swellings. It closes its cell wall and exits as L forms. That means lack of cell wall. We call it as L form. Coming to the culture, aerobic and facultative anaerobe. So they can grow on enriched media containing blood, serum or ascitic fluid. Grows well on Loeffler's serum slope. They are discrete, granular and greyish yellow on culture medium. Coming to the pathogenesis, a mode of transmission through bite of a rat. When an infection is acquired by ingestion of food, milk or water contaminated with rat excreta, it is known as Haverhill fever. So mainly characterized by fever, polyarthritis and petechial rash. Coming to the laboratory diagnosis, specimens are blood and joint fluid. So blood is during acute phase of disease, we can collect blood. In case of when arthritis develops, we need to collect joint fluid. Then culture, usually blood agar, Loeffler's serum slope we can use. And serology can use, we can do agglutination test, complement fixation test, fluorescent antibody test for the demonstration of bacterial antigens or antibodies. And coming to the treatment, we can give an antibiotic penicillin. Coming to the spirillum minus, so coming to the morphology, spirillum gram negative organism, actively motile, especially darting motility with the help of polar flagella. So if you want to demonstrate spirillum minus, you need to use dark ground microscopy or stained by Leishman's or James's stain. Coming to the culture, so with the help of artificial media, there is no growth occurs, so no growth in artificial media. So for the spirillum minus, there is no artificial media, and isolated by intraperitoneal inoculation of specimens like into the mice and guinea pig. So coming to the pathogenesis, organism is inoculated into humans through the bite of a rat, which causes regional lymph node swelling near the site of the bite. Then next thing, skin rash, fever of relapsing type. Then in Japan, rat bite fever, also known as Sodoku. Laboratory diagnosis, mainly we need to collect blood and lymph node biopsy. So here intraperitoneal inoculation. So in the experimental animal we need to give intraperitoneally, like in case of mice, in 2 to 3 weeks small number of spirella are demonstrated by dark field microscopy of blood and peritoneal fluid. Treatment, so here penicillins and tetracyclines you can use as a drug of choice. And HASEC group, it's very important. HASEC group, the HASEC organisms are a group of fastidious gram-negative bacilli. Organisms are normal commensal of oropharyngeal region. So the rarely and important one is it causes endocarditis, and also HASEC group causes septicemia, arthritis, meningitis, respiratory diseases. HASEC is an abbreviation of the initials of the genera of this group of bacteria, usually H for Haemophilus, A for Actinobacillus, C for Cardiobacterium hominis, E for Echinella corrodens, K for Kingella kingae. So coming to the lab diagnosis, here we can collect two types of blood cultures. One is manual and one is automated. So here in case of manual blood culture method, we need to incubate for 2 weeks. In case of automated, we need to incubate for 5 days.